I'm sorry if it's loud. I hope it's quiet up here. I'm Morgan. This is my book. It's backwards. That sucks. Okay. This is Apoxymenos and Venus. I did mine on high classical Greek sculptures, and I chose the Scraper and Venus de Medici. I mostly talked about what was inventive between the two, why they were so important, and a little bit of their history, a little bit of how they were made, where they are now, and why they were important to, like, why they were examples of Greek culture at the time. So I'm just gonna go ahead and read it. Okay, so ancient Greek was known for a lot of things: amazing stories of powerful gods and extraordinary heroes, huge temples and amazing sculptures. All the way back in the 1st century BCE, a man named Cleomenes took a big piece of rock and chipped away and carved at it until he made a beautiful woman named Aphrodite. Around the same time, a man named Lysippus did the same thing and made Apoxymenos. I think that's how you say his name. I'm not 100% sure. Historians nicknamed him the Scraper. Cleomenes and Lysippus used a tool called a chisel to break off pieces of marble. This is how they made the sculpture's shape. Then, once they thought their pieces were perfect, they sanded down all the sharp edges from the chisel until they were smooth and shiny. Cleomenes and Lysippus and other artists at the time were so good at this time in art history was called the High Classical period. It was high because their sculptures were the best Greece had ever seen. They were making things more beautiful than ever before. And that's a man making a carving out of marble. Greek sculptors chose marble because of that same reason. It was so beautiful. When they sanded and polished it, it would sparkle and shine in the light. The Greek people loved their cities and were very proud of their culture. They thought it was the most beautiful, strong, and they thought it was as beautiful, strong, and perfect as the marble they used in their sculptures. They thought they had the best cities and the best people in the whole world. All their art showed us that. The Greek people took pride in everything they did. Because of this, they wanted to make their sculptures look like perfect people. Cleomenes did this by making Aphrodite, the Greek goddess of love and beauty. Lysippus did this by creating a Greek athlete, the perfect male. Cleomenes and Lysippus made their sculptures at different times, but both sculptures were so creative and unique for different reasons. Cleomenes' Aphrodite was so amazing because it was one of the first sculptures of Aphrodite in the Venus Pudica pose. This is the name of the stance she is in. It's how historians knew who she was. Venus is the Roman name of the goddess of love and beauty. That's why it's called the Venus Pudica pose. Aphrodite was made to express beauty in what the Greeks thought the perfect woman looked like. She has even been known around the world as the most beautiful image of Aphrodite ever made. She gave form to all the things the Greeks believed about their culture: elegance, perfectionism, beauty, and strength. Aphrodite was so beautiful that the richest family in Florence, Italy, bought her to have in their home. They were Italian, so when they bought her, they renamed her Venus de Medici. That has been her name ever since. Venus now sits in the Uffizi Gallery in Florence, Italy. I don't know how to pronounce that one either. On permanent display so everyone can see how beautiful she is. Lysippus' Praxiteles, or the Scraper, is so unique and different from what was traditional at the time of his creation. Artists go by what is called a canon proportions to make sure the size of each body part matches the others. The accepted proportion at the time was 1:8, and Lysippus changed it to be 1:10 to make Praxiteles look more like a real person. The way he is standing is also new. The Praxiteles is in the middle of an action called scraping. Athletes would do this after competing to get all the dirt off of them. Also, he is truly 3D. Most sculptors keep his arms and legs of the work close to the body so that they wouldn't break off, but the Scraper's arm is fully extended from the body and never broke off, except for his fingers. The Scraper, just like Venus de Medici, was a physical representation of the beliefs of the Greek people. He is what they thought of as a perfect man. These creations also showed how important learning and perfectionism were to the Greeks. Even though Greek sculptures were the most beautiful and amazing, Lysippus wanted to make one even more perfect. All Greek artists, including Lysippus and Cleomenes, contributed to the legend of the Greek culture and made it what we know today. They made the most magnificent and beautiful art in the world, the most beautiful art the world had ever seen, which still rivals the new art today. The Scraper and Venus de Medici are just two magnificent examples of this. I also added a little tidbit here. You can't read it. It says, no hoo-ha's or peewees here, because we covered it with a leaf. There she is.